Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreth.
Welcome back to News Watch 12 at 5, and we now have chain requirements at Siskiyou Summit. This is hot off the press, so traction tires not sufficient. You have to have those chains as you are traveling over Siskiyou Summit. So that is a big deal because that's one of the biggest passes that we serve here in the News Watch 12 viewing area. And it's easy to see why we have them. We have a lot of heavy snow that is flowing through with this atmospheric river, several winter storm warnings that are in place until 4 p.m. tomorrow. So let's go ahead and put all this into motion with Stormcast. We'll stop this around midnight, and I think that the radar is almost going to look identical to how it looks right now. And we'll keep putting this into motion for Friday morning. And I think the radar is going to look much clearer, but just because there's not as much snow falling from the sky, that doesn't mean that travel conditions are going to be any better. It's going to be a very dangerous commute on Interstate 5, on US 97, on Oregon 140, also on California 3, California 89. So if you don't have to be out on the roadways tomorrow morning, I would highly recommend against that. And then it does look like we'll have a few snow showers that'll linger into the rest of the day on Friday, mainly along and west of the Cascades. And then we'll get a bit of a breather for Friday evening into the overnight hours. But then on Saturday morning, here comes that next storm system approaching from the south. And it looks like this one's going to be a rather weak one. And then we have another atmospheric river to deal with for Sunday and Monday. Almost seems like it's never going to end. So here are some of these water projections through Friday afternoon, and you can clearly see where the axis of moisture is. So when I say that, just think this is where the heaviest rainfall is, and these are where some of the biggest rainfall and snowfall totals are going to be. So it's cutting almost right over Siskiyou Summit up towards Crater Lake. So that's why we already have chains required at Siskiyou Summit, and I think those chain requirements are going to stay in place up until some point tomorrow. Snow levels are going to be bouncing around between 2,000 feet to 2,500 feet from tonight through late on Friday morning, and then raising up to around 3,500 feet during the afternoon. So I think that's when we're finally going to see a transition to just rain for places like Wairika, for Prospect, for Butte Falls, but then in those elevations above 3,500 feet, we'll still see a little bit more snowfall. So speaking of snowfall, here's some of these projections through Friday afternoon. And it's going to be the Cascade Passes that will see the most snowfall. Again, we already have the chain requirements at Siskiyou Summit. A lot of Interstate 5 is shut down in Siskiyou County. Just buckle up, folks. This is a big-time winter storm system, and if the snow wasn't enough, we're also going to have some damaging wind gusts possible. Winds gusting upwards of 80 miles per hour for the Cascades, for the east side, maybe gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour for the Shasta Valley. This is through Friday evening, so we could conceivably see some blowing snow and some reductions in visibility adjacent to blizzard-like conditions. So because of that, we have a high wind warning in place for the Shasta Valley until 1 p.m. on Friday. Also, we have a wind advisory in place for the Rogue Valley. That goes until 7 p.m. on Friday. So for tonight, the atmospheric river keeps impacting us. We have winds, we have rain, we have snow. It'll continue into tomorrow, but remember, it starts to taper off into the morning. Then by the afternoon, it's mainly just going to be along and west of the Cascades where we'll see some of those showers. And with snow levels raising up into this weekend, it does look like travel conditions are going to improve. But then we have another atmospheric river to deal with for Sunday and Monday. And whenever you have heavy rainfall on top of existing snowpack, that means we could see some localized flooding in smaller streams. We could see some excess runoff too. So here's that 7-day forecast for the coast. Rain and thunderstorms looking likely for today. Bit of a break for Saturday. Then that next atmospheric river for Sunday and Monday, which will likely just be rainfall in the Shasta Valley, which is some good news for travel there. And I think for Oregon 140, it's likely just going to be rain as well for Sunday and Monday. So good news for travel there. And even for the foothills, we could see a transition to rain on Sunday and Monday, and it's going to be in those areas that we're concerned about a little bit of flooding. And then for the Rogue Valley, winds backing off into the rest of the day on Friday, small break for Saturday, then back into the thick of it for Sunday and Monday.